Hey fam, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we are all things real talk, reactions, and lifestyle. So if that sounds like your vibe, go ahead and hit that subscribe. Now for this week's video. Now today we're getting into the Braxton season 2, episode 3. But before we jump straight into 3, let's do a quick recap of episodes 1 and 2 because baby, a lot has already gone down. Now, don't worry. If you want to jump straight into episode 3, I'm going to leave a timestamp below. But without further ado, let's get into episode 1, New Hustles and Old Ones. Now, this episode opens up with the sisters, Tamar, Tony, Trina, and Tawanda, reassembling as season 2 begins. Now, with one of the early flashpoints, Tamar invites their niece, Ashley Braxton, onto her podcast. This decision absolutely causes tension as the other sisters feel blindsided, or you could say uneasy about how this affects the family. Meanwhile, the sisters are all working on new hustles. Tawanda is stepping into directing and acting projects, supposedly on Tubi. You let me know down below if you've seen any of them, because for me, I haven't. Tony is launching into TV producing. Trina is celebrating success with her new realtor license, and Tamar is prepping for a new tour. The theme is old wounds. Keep that in your mind because while there is excitement about these new projects, there are unresolved emotional issues. And to be honest with you guys, I don't know how to feel about Tamar bringing Ashley onto the show, nonetheless onto a podcast to talk about her experience and what went down with her and Gabe. Now, if you don't know or you're not familiar with who Ashley actually is a niece to all of the sisters, but she came out on social media earlier this year and it went viral where she was talking about how Trina's late husband Gabe was very inappropriate with her, and she was expressing her experience online. Now, in the typical Black family, I do know that a lot of our families struggle with family secrets. Do I feel like Tamar was actually trying to be supportive of the niece, or was this just her way of seeking attention? I'm more on the end of she's seeking attention because this is a cycle for Tamar. But you guys tell me, what do you think? Like, if they really did not handle her properly, I get it. Now we get into episode 2, Trouble in Paradise. One thing that stood out to me, you guys, is Tamar explaining her decision to allow Ashley to have a voice and speak about it publicly. And she says the difference between me and Ashley is that I went to my family for help and they told me they weren't going to help me. And I wanted to offer that to her. To me, that speaks volumes because it's like, what is it that Tamar is not specifically saying that she felt like her family was not there for her? Now, if you really think about, I forgot what season it was, but it was when they were sitting with Ayanna and Mama Evelyn actually came out, I believe, about a situation that Tamar went through, but they never emphasized exactly what it was. And I feel like this is the same thing that Tamar has been holding on for years. But you guys let me know what you think. Tawanda ends up having an accident when she drops off her husband at the airport. Supposedly she gets hit by a car, which I mean, but I find it kind of odd how do you randomly get hit by a car? But then again, people out here be driving and texting at the same time. So, I mean, I guess we can give that to her. It is a believable storyline. But anywho, here's the sister who is planning a wedding and taking on new role. We also see where Tony is trying to support Tawanda, but then again, at the same time, she's being pulled into her own commitments. And you can also see the effect of this and how hard Tawanda is actually taking it. In my mind, when I saw this episode, I absolutely believe that Tawanda has been holding resentment against all of her sisters, because if you've seen previous seasons, Tawanda has always been there in some shape or form for each sister. Whatever they've ever needed, Tawanda has been the front woman. She has always been there to do something or be there as support system for each sister. Now, when it really counts and when she really needs that support, you can honestly see her holding resentment towards her sisters, because it's like, finally this is my time. Finally, I'm having my time. And when I need y'all, you're nowhere to be found. Anywho, so Tawanda takes the whole crew to Tulum to celebrate, but Tawanda does not allow this accident to stop her plans. Tawanda is let down by the sisters, not being supportive. The only sister that actually showed up was Trina. Lo and behold, as the night progresses, Trina ends up getting some very scary news from her husband, who's at the hospital in the emergency room. To sum up what I felt about episode 2, though it's empowering to Ashley, I feel like Tamar really did not discuss this with the family for real. Like, or did she discuss it with the family and they denied her and she did it anyway? I'm not really sure what side of the spectrum we're at with that. And then with Tawanda's accident, was this just for drama for the show? And y'all can read between the lines of what I'm saying about that. Once again, I understand Toni is a star, right? She is a star. She is a superstar. She's a legend. So her schedule is busy. But at the same time, at a certain point, when are you going to start making time for your family? But then you can also look at it from this angle. Toni has always prioritized her family all throughout her career. And I feel like Toni has reached a point where she's like, I'm tired of always incorporating my sisters in my career. I just want to focus on me and do me. And I'm not going to shut down the opportunity to focus solely on my career again, now that I have the opportunity to tour again. So you guys tell me what you think about that. All right. Now that we're all caught up, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump straight into episode 3. So we start with Trina revealing that her husband Vaughn had a health scare. Even though she had to leave Tawanda's celebration early, she prioritized her husband first. You can see how strong their relationship is and how much she truly cares about Vaughn. So then we shift to Toni. Toni's prepping for her solo show, and you can see the stress. She's running rehearsals. She's managing a million things. You can tell she's hitting that burnout point. She looks tired. At what point does Toni get to say, I am done? And you can see her constantly being big sister, constantly allowing Tamar to say whatever Tamar wants to say. And it is what it is. Because did y'all see the part where they were at the table? Toni was just trying to joke around with Tamar about being celibate, and Tamar took it to the nines immediately. Toni is always taking the higher road with Tamar, just like the other sisters. And you know what sister didn't? Tracy. Tracy did not let that fly. Tracy was like, I'm not about to have this. And it's like, I feel like all the sisters do that to Tamar. That's why Tamar is so spoiled and acts the way that she acts and feels like she can talk however she wants to talk to people, because she does it to her sisters all the time. And that's very clear in episode 3. Tamar villainizes herself. And to be real with you, the sisters still have not learned yet, after all the seasons that they've ever worked together. Take people out of the equation. Everything that came out of Tawanda and Tamar's mouth was, well, I was told. What season are we in? We may be in season 2 because y'all, doing the Braxtons, but what season are we in if we put them all together? From Braxton family values to the Braxtons. You still have not learned how to stop listening to he said, she said. There are wolves setting the sisters up, okay? Who told Tawanda that Tamar just didn't want to record with them? Who told Tamar that Tawanda just said, I don't want her to be my bridesmaid, my maid of honor anymore? Like, there's no communication through the sisters, and they're wondering why they're in this situation now. One thing that stood out to me that was so surprising in episode 3 was Mama Evelyn. And side note, I don't know if y'all read Trina's body language when she was sitting on that couch with Tamar, but it said more than enough. It said that I don't fool with you. Like, I'm holding it together because we're recording together and I want to keep the peace, but I don't fool with you. But anywho, let's get into it. So Toni, Tamar, and Trina questioned Miss Evelyn as to why she hid having a heart surgery. And Mama Evelyn was just like, I felt like that's my privacy. I don't need to tell y'all everything. And to me, the one thing that stood out is that if something as important as a heart surgery is something that you don't want to share, my question is, why is that? I think that would be something that you let your children know just in case, because that's not no small surgery, which makes me realize that the core of why the sisters communicate the way they do or lack of them is from their mother. Holding secrets, not truly communicating, or half communicating. They learned it from someone. Now, the episode ends with a family dinner explosion, okay? And baby, when they all sat down, I knew it was about to go left. And this is where the Braxtons always hit different. I do honestly believe that they love each other. Because sometimes when you truly love somebody, you fight so freaking hard. It's just unfortunate because their pain is louder than the love that they have for one another. Where we left off at the end of episode 3, Tamar explodes and slams down cease and desist notice that she has received from the family attorney, and the sisters deny it. They're like, I don't work with the guy. I don't know who he is. I wasn't a part of it. And she blows up like, how? And how did they get my address? The blows just kept going to the point where we end with Toni Braxton saying, don't F with Toni Braxton. I'm just like, whoop. When I tell y'all episode 4 is going to be something, we do get a few previews of what's to come in episode 4, because obviously Toni gets to a point with Tamar where she stands up as if they're about to fight. And you know Toni don't do that. Toni does not do that. So I say all that to say, after Tawanda just lost it and had brought up the fact that allegedly Tamar Braxton slept with Toni Braxton's man. Now, it's not specific who she's talking about history, because all that we know with Toni Braxton, her dating history, is that she was engaged or getting married to Birdman at one point, and then she was married to Terry before that. So it's just like, who did Tamar sleep with? And let me know if anything did not stand out to you after episode 3. It was absolutely the focus on the argument between Tamar and Tawanda. When I say after that episode 3 dropped, consensus is in. It seems that Tamar is not the only villainized character in this story. Truth be told, the actual villain that's probably even worse than Tamar is Tawanda. Go back and watch the end of episode 3 and the dynamic between Tamar and Tawanda. Tamar was calling it out. Tamar said the heck with it at this point. I am telling you the truth.
And you've been stealing from me for the past couple years on my credit card.
And when Tamar called Tawanda out, Tawanda threw her under the bus by bringing up the fact that Tamar slept around allegedly with Toni Braxton's man.
You sold men.
Who's the man that I stole?
Tony's. You slept with them.
Tracy literally called this out.
You know exactly what you're doing. Don't be looking like that, you snake ass son of a gun. Okay. You're a snake, and then you like controversy, and you like all of that.
Okay.
So,
and even Tracy called it out. It makes you start to analyze Tawanda's role in a lot of things. Could Tawanda be the actual villain of the family? And we were so thrown off because of the loudness of Tamar. Well, are you tuning in to episode 4 this week? Because I know I am. So I will see you next week. We're going to be talking about it.